Hi, my name is Ariana Hessler, and this is my video on initiatives and referendums in Arizona. So an initiative is a method by which voters may propose new laws or amend existing laws by gathering signatures from registered voters to place the issue on the ballot. A referendum is the method by which voters may veto a law or part of a law by gathering signatures from voters to place the issue on the ballot. So how are they both created? So initiatives and referendums are created in somewhat similar processes. So to place an initiative on the ballot in Arizona, sponsors must first form a political committee through the Arizona Secretary of State's online system called Beacon, or designate an existing non-candidate political committee to serve as a petition sponsor. The sponsor must then file an application for serial number with the Arizona Secretary of State's office and obtain the appropriate initiative petition forms. Any paid or out-of-state petition circulators are required to register with the Secretary's office before collecting signatures. Afterwards, petitions are circulated to gather those signatures from eligible voters in accordance with state law, i.e., registered voters. Completed petitions must be submitted to the Secretary of State by the constitutional deadline, after which the Secretary and county recorders review those petitions to verify signatures and determine whether the initiative qualifies for placement on the ballot. So to place a referendum on the ballot in Arizona, sponsors also must form a political committee through the Arizona Secretary of State's online system or designate that non-candidate political committee to serve as the sponsor. An application for serial number again must be filed, and the appropriate referendum petition forms must be obtained, right? This is where we need to make sure we're not getting initiative forms, but getting referendum forms. Excuse me. Any paid or out-of-state petition circulators are required to register with the Secretary of State before collecting signatures. Petitions are then circulated to gather signatures from those registered voters and are submitted to the Secretary of State's office by the statutory deadline. After submission, the Secretary of State and the county recorders will review and process the petitions to determine whether enough valid signatures were collected to place the measure on the ballot. So, just a little compare and contrast. So in Arizona, initiatives and referendums, are both great examples of direct democracy that allows citizens to participate directly in the lawmaking process, but they do serve different purposes. An initiative allows voters to propose a new law or constitutional amendment and place it on the ballot by collecting the required number of signatures. In contrast, a referendum allows voters to challenge a law or change a law that's already in place that has been passed by the legislature by placing it on the ballot for voter approval or voter rejection. However, both processes require petition circulation, signature collection from eligible voters, and they are both reviewed by the Arizona Secretary of State and county recorders before appearing on the ballot. So they have to go through a couple processes before they can even get on the ballot. However, the power to approve or reject, however, initiatives and referendums are proactive, and initiatives create new policies while referendums are reactive and give voters the power to approve or reject existing legislation. Together, they reflect Arizona's strong commitment to citizen participation and direct democracy. So, a couple pros and cons of each. So, the pros of an initiative is that it allows citizens to give their thoughts and be a voice in their county or in their district or in just the state in general, and propose those new laws or amendments that they feel would make life better for Arizona residents. They promote civic engagement, and, as said, they can lead to reforms that reflect public priorities. Initiatives also empower voters to bring attention to emerging or overlooked concerns. They also encourage voters to vote and get interested in the political life of Arizona because their voices will be heard. So a couple of cons of initiatives is that they can be costly and complex, often favoring groups with the financial resources to gather signatures, run campaigns, and do all the work that comes behind it. And voters might be asked to decide on complicated policy issues without full context or expertise, right? They're going to be asking regular people about these issues that they might not have any knowledge of. So, poorly written initiatives can also create unintended consequences or long term challenges once passed. So, a couple of pros of referendums is that they give voters the ability to approve or reject laws passed by the legislature, acting as a check on legislative power, right? The balance of powers. And they increase government accountability and allow the public to weigh in on those controversial or impactful laws, saying, hey, we don't really feel like this is working. Let's see what we can do better. Let's change it. And this process helps to ensure that major policy decisions reflect public consent. So, however, referendums can delay the implementation of laws and create uncertainty in the way they are governed. Like initiatives, they can be influenced by well funded financial groups, interest groups, and can also reduce legislative efficiency by discouraging lawmakers from passing necessary but politically unpopular policies, right? They can kind of get in the way of that process of passing helpful laws. So, they do both support the idea of direct democracy as it is outlined in the Arizona Constitution. So they support direct democracy by giving citizens a direct voice in making and reviewing laws. Through initiatives, voters can propose new laws or change the Constitution when they feel lawmakers are not addressing the important issues. And referendums allow voters to approve or reject laws passed by the legislature, which helps keep lawmakers accountable. And together, these processes reflect Arizona's commitment to public participation and government transparency. They encourage citizens to be involved in decision making, require public support before laws take effect, and reinforce the idea that the people, not just elected officials, hold power in the government. And they encourage people to get out and have a stake in their life, and it encourages civic engagement as it is a form of direct democracy. Thank you.